Okay, so we're coming to the realization that we're big stars, right? But we're maybe stuck in a small time opportunity, or we're figuring out the realization that our current vehicle needs some work to get us there, right? Or we're lacking in knowledge or skill or desire or confidence. There's something that we're doing. Some of you are probably questioning what you are doing. I'll never forget speaking in New York City once, and a woman came and she had a terrible attitude. She sat on the very front row. She didn't pay a bit of attention. I didn't think she was paying attention to me. She'd make these huffing and puffing noises like, and it was a 6-hour seminar. And man, the more miserable she looked, the more I gave the message, and the more I buckled down. And halfway through the day, when she first got there, she said, "My boss made me come to this." And then by the end of the day, I'm like, she comes back and she's different. Like after lunch, she's laughing, she's joking, she's cutting up, and I'm like, "Girl, what happened to you?" And she said, "Oh, I figured everything out." And I'm like, "Well, what do you figured out?" She said, "I need to go back and quit my job." And I'm like, "Well, don't tell your boss who footed the bill for you to come see me that I done motivated you to quit, right?" But here's the reality. The reality is if I convinced her to quit in 3 hours, she quit a long time ago. So maybe I confirmed the fact that she needed to do something else, and I suspect I was doing her boss a favor if she came to that conclusion, right or wrong. Right. So what I try to do with people is challenge them to think. And maybe nobody's challenged you to think like this in a long time, okay? And I'm forcing you to dig what's under the hood, man. Why are you doing what you do every day? Where is this going? Right? Like I'm 43 years old. I want to know what's happening in the next 10 years. Like this is a pivotal time in my life. Like I don't want to mess around with it, right? Like this is my true wealth building season of my life. Okay? Now, how I hit it for the next 10 years will determine what I do for the next 30 or 40 years. Everybody follow me? So this is very critical that you take some time just to think about your future a little bit more than just being on that rat race that's just running and running and running, and you're not stepping back. And I told my staff, we're going to go through this whole thing with my team because what I'm teaching you is everybody needs to go through. Okay? Everybody needs to go through these questions. Everybody needs to be asked these questions. So for you, I hope this is helping you. Now, this is an exercise called Baby Star to Big Star. And I had this idea many years ago that if you are a baby star in an industry, that's not an offensive term. I'm just basically saying you have big star potential. You have just not made the jump. And so about a year ago, I sat down and I drew up my Baby Star to Big Star plan. And what I did is I basically said, I started drawing buckets. And if you know me, you know I mental map a lot. And so I just started drawing buckets on my iPad. And I started saying these buckets represent revenue drivers, meaning I'm going to bring money in from these buckets. And what I started saying is, well, how much money do I want to do in speaking in 2020? How much money do I want to do in coaching? How much money do I want to do on e-commerce? How much money do I want to do in retreats? And I began cultivating this dominant focus. This dominant focus. Everybody see that? I began cultivating this dominant focus. This was a number. This is very critical to your 2020 because what you're doing is you're setting this intention in the field, and then you're working backward from that intention. Everybody see that? You have a number you're trying to hit. Then we're going to break that number down into a quarterly goal, into a monthly, and even into a weekly. So when you're thinking about your big star plans, think big. Okay? So here's how I've calculated. If I wanted to generate $2 million from speaking in 2020, and let's say that every time I speak, if we hit it right, it's the right audience, it could be worth $70,000 to $150,000 to us. I need to speak on the right stages 24 times to generate $2 million. Everybody see how specific that is? So I calculate what's the value. The value of me speaking to the right audience with the right number of people is between $70,000 and $150,000 per engagement. If I want to make $2 million without killing myself, then I will need to speak 24 times. Now, so here's what I did. I put and assign one person on my team to this one thing. That's what her job is. Her job is to work with me and find these 24 stages and get me on those stages. Everybody with me? See how I took it from a big goal to a singular goal, to a number, to an action. This is the part that misses for a lot of people. Then I went over here and I said, I want to do this much in my online academy. Okay, so what I want to do in my online academy is I want to have one e-commerce expert. And that person does nothing but wake up every day thinking about how we can sell products online. E-commerce with no coaching. Like they go to the website, they buy a book, they buy a coaching program, and there's no involvement from me. That's e-commerce. Everybody see that? So I start breaking it down. What if I want to do $250,000? What if I did $1,000 a day e-commerce? 1,000 times 5 is 5,000 a week, times 4 is 20,000 a month. 20,000 a month times 12 is 240,000 of e-commerce. Everybody see that? That's how I'm breaking it down. Each one of these in my mind are buckets or divisions. Okay? They're like divisions of the same company, but they're all producing. Now, the way you have a big goal is you start with the big goal and you say, I want to do $10 million next year or whatever. Then each one of these revenue drivers should have its own goal. Well, if I wanted to do 10 million next year, there's 2 million of it right there. Everybody see that? Then I start going, okay, how are we going to make money with this one? How are we going to make money with this one? How are we going to make money with this one? And in essence, this is going to help me go from a baby star to a big star. But under each bucket, there has to be very specific actions. Like I got to hire one person. I got to expand into one area. I got to do one thing. Notice it didn't say I got to do 10 things. I got to do one thing. See that? So right now, I want you to write up your big star plan. Think of your things as revenue drivers. That means they're producing revenue. They're producing revenue. They're producing revenue, right? Each one of them represents a way you're going to generate money. Okay? And if you only have currently one revenue driver, meaning one way to generate money, then it may be 4 different tactics you're going to use.
This isn't gross, this is just what we want to make off each.
No, it would be gross in this scenario. Be your gross top line revenue. Okay? So I want you to think, how are you going to produce this money? When I first learned this concept of intentional congruence, I spent a half a day with John Maxwell's agent in Atlanta, Georgia. And I said, how do you make money off Maxwell? And he drew up a kind of like he put something in the middle, which was the concept. Here's the concept that Maxwell came up with, 21 laws of leadership. Then he showed me, here are 12 ways we're going to make money with this one concept. He's going to speak on it. We're going to write books on it. We're going to do workshops on it. We're going to do seminars on it. We're going to train the trainer. We're going to do a podcast on it. We're going to license it. Like all he does is come up with the concept. Our job is to make money 12 different ways with that concept. Everybody see that? Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm telling you, we're trying to produce more money, but there may be 12 different ways we're going to produce that money. Right? Unless I just wanted to speak and that's the only thing I wanted to do, then I may say I want to do $10 million speaking. And that's it. That's the only thing I got. I may have to use all these strategies to make the 10 million, but that's not how I do it. I say I'm going to create this much from this bucket because I only want to speak so many times. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? I don't want to speak 300 times to make the 10 million. No. I want to speak 24 times. Now, let's say that I got better at my skills and every time I spoke wasn't worth $170,000 to $150,000. Let's say it was worth $500,000. I could cut that in half. I could speak 12 times. Everybody see that? Okay? If you're a real estate agent and you sell a house down in Seaside, Florida, all you got to do is sell 12 to make $500,000. Because the average sale of a house is $1.7 million down there. How many of those do you have to sell in Murfreesboro, Tennessee to make $500,000? Still selling a house, yes or no? Yes. Same concept. You just fishing for bluegill versus blue marlins. They're still selling a house. Matter of fact, agents down there ain't any better than the ones here. Okay? The last transaction I did, the agent made $82,400 commission on the house, my house in Florida. She hadn't called me one time. She didn't congratulate me. She ain't tried to get any referrals from me. She ain't even checked on me. And she made $82,000 on that single transaction. And she didn't even have to do anything. I bought my partner out. Now, how sick would you be? How sick would you be on that? My banker had a fit. He's like, she's making $82,000 for you to buy your partner out? She didn't even sell it to anybody. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. What's more ridiculous is she ain't called me. So when you're thinking about this concept, you gotta start thinking, like, does everybody understand the Baby Star to Big Star concept? Okay, how do I know that your company's becoming a big star company? What would be one signal? What would be one sign that your personal company is becoming a big company?
People want to be like us.
Okay, people want to be like you. Yeah, that's right.
Get more advertising.
Here's the number one way I would tell you. Once your company crosses over $1 million of revenue, you are now starting to be a bigger star. And let me tell you why. Only 4% of small businesses in the United States will ever break $1 million of revenue. 96%. Now, you got to understand what I mean by revenue. I'm not talking about you went out and sold $80 million worth of something and you're saying that you have an $80 million revenue company. I'm talking about actual revenue that, you understand what I'm saying, that's tied to how much money you earn. Because I see people do that all the time. Oh, I got an $80 million company. Really, you produced about $5 or $6 million of revenue. You may have sold $80 million of what it is you got. You follow what I'm saying? So it can be a little misleading. Now, the reason is, but for everybody in the room that's got a small business, if your business gets over $1 million, you are in a very small percent of small businesses. Okay? Now, I have a new book coming out called Single Digit Millionaire, and it is a book about how to get your net worth between $1 and $10 million. Okay? Now, people ask me, why didn't you do double digit millionaire? And I say, because I'm not a double-digit millionaire. I'm only a single-digit millionaire. Okay? And I'm not qualified to tell you how to get to double digits yet. Everybody with me? But it's kind of a play because how many people will never get to single-digit millionaire status? Everybody understand that? So what's the likelihood of you being a single-digit millionaire if your business don't even produce $1 million?
0.
It ain't happening. Unless you have some great investments. If your business does not produce $1 million, after you pay everybody in it, there's very little likelihood you're going to be worth $1 million. So your business may have to produce $4 million for you to be worth $1 million or $3 million. Okay? Now, one of the number one things you know that can drive up your net worth is what? Real estate. Real estate holdings can drive up your net worth significantly. Okay? So if you just take this property here alone, it's maybe worth $1.5 million. That helps drive up your net worth. Okay? Now, I'm not saying net worth is even an indicator of success because I don't, cash flow may be a better indicator of success, but it does signify something that you figured out how to do what? Sell something and produce something. That's what it signifies, okay? Any questions on the Big Star plan? Okay, how many of you are relying on too few of revenue drivers? Okay, so your number one problem is you got a vehicle and the vehicle can only get so far and you're not producing secondary flows of income. So the question would be this: what do I need to do to get my primary flow of income up? Now let me go back to one thing, because this is in essence what the book Single Digit Millionaire is about. You have to refine a very specific skill and show a demonstrated capacity with results. You got a finite skill set. I mean, you got a very specific skill. That is why people are coming to you, right? I call that a hard skill if you're in my coaching program, or a primary skill. If you don't have this primary skill, there will be no demand for your skill. The stronger your skill, the more demand you have for that skill. Okay? Once you have the skill, then you have to have a big revelation that somebody will pay you 10 times for that skill. Let me ask you a question right now. Who would pay you? J Cash, what is the most amount of money you can make doing an auction?
Oh, it gets pretty out there, so I mean,
Based on what?
the asset, or if it's a benefit or a real estate option.
Okay, good. So the bigger the asset, the more money Jay can make, right? Okay, now when it comes to doing the charitable auctions, what's the largest amount? Where's the largest place for you to go to make money?
It varies. It usually causes me to travel. I don't know, that's such a wide open. I know where they are. No,
Let me ask it a different way. What's the largest check you've ever cashed? You don't have to tell me the amount, for an auction that you've done. Do you know who paid you that check?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, everybody hear that question? What's the largest check you've ever cashed, and where did it originate? i.e., how did they find you? Now, once he says, oh, that's simple, this group, I would ask Jay, now where can we go find 20 more of those? Everybody understand? This is so simple, but it's so strong. If I told you, Randy, that the group that was paying me the most money of all the clients I have is an insurance company, and they're doing $25 million in revenue, and you were coaching me, you would say, go find other $25 million insurance companies.
Exactly.
But that ain't how we think. That ain't how we market. We just go out and hope to find somebody. Right or wrong? As long as they got a pulse. It don't even matter if they got credit, no credit, can pay the bill, can't pay the bill. We'll just take them on. Come on. Hey, you got money? Come on in the door. We don't step back and think, my level 10 is right here, man. This is where I need to be going. I got a skill set, and there's somebody who would pay me 10 times the amount of money for this skill. Who is that? Once you have the skill, you work the muscle. That's the long obedience in the same direction I told you earlier. Once you work the muscle and your muscle's getting stronger and you're getting better, you build demand for your skill through the daily practice of selling. This is a piece that's missing. If you're not spending 2 hours a day prospecting for new business, then you ain't working the muscle. I don't care what you're selling. Everybody understand that? If you're not spending 2 hours a day trying to create new money every day, then you ain't working the selling system. Okay? Now, once you get these clients, you show up and you be incredible. You don't be average. You don't be okay. You be incredible. Okay? And that's going to become from the long obedience in the same direction. Your skill is very refined. If you ever spent time with somebody and you go, and after you spend time, you're like, dang, that dude's good. Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't become good overnight. He became good over 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. Like I used to think that artists and entertainers, it was easy being an artist and entertainer. Like you go to a concert, and if you sit in the cheap seats, what does it look like? How many of y'all ever sat in the cheap seats? That's our first problem right there. You need to get out of the cheap seats. I don't go to a concert now unless I got great seats. You know why? Because it changes the experience. I don't care. If you sit up at the top of the stadium and watch Garth Brooks, it wouldn't be near as good if you got down close to him. Now, so I go to a concert at the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas, and I saw Kenny Chesney. And I'd seen Chesney in big arenas, and I used to sit when I was being cheap, set up at the top, and he'd run around, look like this little dude running around and jumping up and down. And I'm like, man, that's easy. What he's doing got to be easy. Look at him. And I stood up right in front of the stage at the Hard Rock and watched him. He sang for 4 hours and 15 minutes that night. And he was sweating, and he was working so hard. And I sat there and I said, dang, that dude's working hard. I had such a respect. When it was done, I almost had to carry him out of there. He's almost like he couldn't even breathe. Like at hour number 14, in between songs, he's like this right here. Okay? Now, a lot of alcohol helped him get in that position too. Yeah. But here's my point. He would just stand right back up and start hitting it again. And I'd be like, this dude ain't never going to stop, man. 4 hours and 15 minutes? But you know what I walked away with? How many years has he worked to be that good? How many years has he worked? He makes it look easy until you sit right up front and you see how hard he works. Right? Some of you are not earning the income you need to earn yet because your skills ain't strong enough. You have not skilled up and leveled up. So the market is saying to you, you're good, but you ain't that good. And because you ain't that good, here's how much you make. When you get real good, the market is going to say, here's how much you make. Everybody with me here. You know, most of the presidents that are former presidents charge about $200,000 to speak. Even Clinton was charging as much as $700,000 after he was president to speak for an hour. You know why? Because they've been president. You know what kind of guts it takes to be president of the United States? Just to wake up every day and get hit in every direction. After you've done that, you can run around the country and say, look, let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you how I did it. Let me tell you what the big, right? All of them do it. They all go on the speaking circuit. They all make $100,000 to $200,000 every time they speak. Why? Because they've actually done something big. That's why they say, if you want me to come talk, I'll come talk for $200,000 bucks. Okay? Now, if you've been president, you charge $200,000. That's the concept here. So for some people, show up and be incredible, build something that could get serious traction, generate excess cash, put it into something that builds wealth, and then understand intentional congruence. This is a path to being a single-digit millionaire. Everybody see that? If you don't start up here with a very specific skill, the whole thing don't work. The whole thing does not work, okay? Now, we understand intentional congruence. So here's my questions for you. I want you to write these down, the answers to these down. Number one, what's the number one thing in 2020 you got to do to get your primary revenue up? What's the number one thing you got to do in 2020 to get your primary flow of income up? That's your primary way you earn income. Is it skill up? Is it add people? Is it market better? Is it quit fishing for bluegills? What's the number one thing you got to do? I want you to write down what you think. And it's probably a flash. Like you don't even think about this long. It's like there's one thing I got to do. All right, number two question. How do you foresee you supplementing your primary flow with a secondary flow? And maybe you just need one secondary flow. You don't need 12 yet. Like what can you do? Here's my primary. Here is my secondary. And it's one stream of additional income that is tied to your primary. Okay? Let's say that you tended to the grounds here. We pay a person to tend to the grounds and you know, mow the grass and make everything's good, right? And let's say that woman came to me and said, you know what? We're also going to add a feature in 2020 where we clean all the windows too. We got a new service. While we're out here, if you'd like for us to clean the windows, we're just going to add $50 more to the deal. Now she's got a secondary flow of income. What if she said, hey, while we're out there too, we'll clean the barns, if you want us to clean the barns, or if you want us to cut down the wood and make some firewood, right? Now she's got a third flow of income. What if she said, you know what, we'll even wash the cars while we're out there, coach. Now she's got a fifth flow of income, all from that one primary flow of income. Did everybody see that? That's how you need to be thinking. So it's the person who thinks, okay, I own this, and this produces revenue, and then I'm also going to make some money here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Okay? I'm making money in different ways off the one primary flow. Okay, now, let's go into the future. And let's say that your business is clicking and you are starting to produce excess cash. My first investments into secondary and passive flows will be what? I.e., where, when you make money, are you going to put that money into? Where are you going to put it? You're going to put it in the market? You're going to put it in reinvestment in your business? Are you going to put it into real estate? Are you going to put it into, where are you going to put your first investments? Into things that are assets. What does that asset do? Produces money. Liabilities cost you money. The way a lot of people get poor is they make money and they buy liabilities. That means they buy things that cost them money every month. New truck, new car, new toy, new boat. They do not, I only buy anything. Sam, you listen to this one? This is good. I don't buy one thing unless I think it can make us more money. Does that make sense? That airplane can make me more money. The bus I travel on can make me more money because it buys me time. Everybody see that? This house can make me more money. I do not put money into liabilities. You would never see Coach Burt buy liabilities. Never. If I'm not buying something, you may say, well, when you make enough money, you buy whatever you want to. You can. Buy it out of your passive income. Here would be my rule. Don't buy trinkets and toys out of your earned income. Buy trinkets and toys out of your passive income. If you have investments that are kicking off enough cash for you to go buy something that you want, Only buy it if you have enough passive income coming in. Does that make sense? Don't buy it out of your primary flow of income. If my passive investments are making me a bunch of money and I want to buy something that's just because I like it, or I want to buy an expensive watch or whatever, then I need to buy it out of my passive income, not my primary income. That's just that's a rule. Most Americans, the reason they can't get it going is because they make a little bit of money, and what do? Spend it on things that they will never get back. They will never get that money back. It's not coming home with friends, okay? So I just want to encourage you, as you start doing it, what specifically will be your secondary flows of income, okay? Now, any questions on any of these things? Yes?
Could that, for me, the investment would be like the education, like coming to things like this.
That's correct.
So is that part of that?
Yes. Yes. Now, it's a great question. I actually believe when you start making any income, the first place you need to reinvest it is in you. The first place. The second place you need to reinvest it is in your business. And the third place you need to invest it is in your long-term wealth. Everybody see that? When you make money, go purchase something that makes you better. Workshop, book, learn under somebody, mentorship. Spend money on yourself, growing your skill. That's the first place you need to spend money. Then spend it in your business. All right, I'm going to add marketing. I'm going to flow money back into my marketing. Then I'm going to start building my wealth. So I'm going to start putting it in some type of investment that'll give me excess cash. Any other questions on that? All right. How many of you need some help right now with your business? Raise your hand. Okay. Get out of your brain that employees cost you money. It actually costs you not having any help. See, you're thinking too small. You're thinking, I only make this much money. I don't have any money to add any more people. And that one thought is going to keep you from ever doing anything big. Everybody see this? Not having people on your team is going to cost you a lot of money. Not having somebody that can free you up. Now, I want to get out of your brain that's got to be an employee. You have an hourly rate that you are worth today. If you take the amount of money you make, you divide it by the number of hours you work, that is how much 1 hour is worth to you right now. It may be worth $50, may be worth $500, may be worth $5,000. If you're doing things right now that are less than that number, so let's say your hour's worth $200, okay, and then you're doing a $10 task, when you should be subcontracting that $10 task out to somebody. Okay, for example, mowing the yard. Doesn't mean you can't mow your own yard, but how much time does it cost you? How much is your hour worth? If your hour's worth $300 and you can pay somebody $20 to mow the yard, why would you not do that? Sometimes a team is not like me. Like, I'm building a company. So I have a COO, a sales team, AR, person handles my bookends, a personal assistant, personal trainer in Jorge. Like, I got all these people on my team, and my payroll is big. Like, I pay out a lot of money every month to my staff. But it's because I believe they can help us make millions of more dollars. Is everybody with me here? Just hiring Jorge alone to help me get my physical shape could help us produce a lot more money. Because when my mindset is good and clear and I feel healthy, I'm going to have more energy. And when I have more energy, I'm going to be a better speaker and coach. Now, what do most people do? What's the difference, Jorge, between what most people do and what I've done with you? They go to a gym and do what?
No serious work.
No serious work. Here's what they do. They pay some trainer $50 an hour. They show up every now and then when they want to. They don't really get in better shape, right? Here's what I said. I'm going to put the dude on my payroll. So we can work out anytime. If I get to a hotel at 10 o'clock at night and I want to work out, I say, Jorge, I want to work out. It's okay. That's his job. Does that make sense? So my point is, I'm serious enough to get serious about my health that I would just put him on my payroll versus just pay somebody $50 an hour. Now you may say, well, why would you do that? Because to me, that's a good investment. It's a good investment in him.
Plus it keeps us all safe.
Plus, he keeps us all safe, and so nobody acts crazy. And I do run into some crazy people around the world, just so you know, okay? Now, so I want you to write down right now. If I forced you, and I said you ain't leaving here, you're hiring 1 to 3 people when you leave here today. What positions would you hire them for? You need 3 people. Let's just say you need 3 right now. Who would you go get right now? I got people I need to go get. Who would you go get today? Man, they can't be on my team. You can't steal them off my team. Who would you go get right now? Now, what's the $1 million question? Garrett, what's the $1 million question?
Which one do you hire first?
Okay, could be. What's stopping you from hiring them? How many of you are you getting out? We're talking level 10 opportunity. You guys come today because you want to talk about a level -3 opportunity?
No.
Is that why you came? You came because you want to talk about what?
Making money.
Okay, how big can you get? How big can you get right now with one person?
Finding qualified people.
Okay, that could be a problem. But that ain't gonna stop us from trying to find them, right or wrong.
Right.
And I would even take it a step further. If you really got serious about doing this, you could go as far as hiring a world-class search firm that would do all the vetting, all the personality testing, all the everything. If you really want to get serious about it. That's gonna cost you some money, right? Many of them get 25% of the first year's salary of that person. But if you want to go out and get a big-time person, they're out there, right or wrong. Here's the deal though, people you're looking for ain't looking for you. The people who are successful are not looking for new jobs because they're happy. They're well paid. Okay? You get people that are looking for a job. Right? Because they either can't keep the one they got or they're not happy. So here's what I would tell you. When I go out looking for people, I ain't looking for just being regular old Joe. I'm looking for a very specific skill set. I may have to pay up for that skill set, by the way. I may have to not go cheap. Like that $14 intern you got, you can't figure out why your marketing ain't working? Because you got a high school kid doing your marketing? Because you went cheap? Anytime I've ever gone cheap in my life, guess what I got?
Cheap results.
Cheap results. Cheap people. Right or wrong? Now, so for you, it could be an assistant. It could be a phone dialer. It could be a person that cuts the grass. It could be a person that watches the kids. It could be, don't think you got to go out and build an enterprise. But you need to build a team. I would also tell you, if you're getting serious about level 10, you need a great accountant. Not an average accountant or an accounting firm or an accounting person. You need an incredible lawyer. Now, let me tell you something. I pay $500 an hour for my lawyer out of Nashville, Bone McAllister. All the local attorneys in Murfreesboro are $250 an hour. And I would tell you, the reason they're better in Nashville is because they're better. Like the dude I have now is 47 times better than the last dude I had. And he's $250 more per hour. So I have a retainer. I pay $60,000 in retainers for legal fees a year just to have them on call. Everybody see that? Seems like a lot of money till you have a problem.
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Right.
It ain't a lot of money when you got a problem. And when you're helping as many people as I do, you got problems every day. You got problems every day. Collections problems, trying to collect money from people problems, trying to do this. You got problems every day, every single day. You follow where I'm going with this? When I upgraded my attorney, I'm like, dude, this dude is a strategist. Like, he is way better than this dude over here. This dude over here is average. I was paying him $250 an hour to be average. So what I'm telling you, if you're going to do big time things, what do you got to start surrounding yourself with? Big time people, big time accountants, big time people that have done it, man. You got to quit playing small, okay? Now, I'm going to finish the day with probably one of the most important things of this level 10 concept. And that is, how do I recognize a level 10 opportunity?
Right.
I'm going to show you 6 ways to recognize if this is a level 10 opportunity or not. Okay? So how many of you get opportunity pitched to you every day? Some type of opportunity, some available to you, right? Now, how do you know if this is a good opportunity or not? These are 6 criteria that I want you to start thinking about. Number one, does this opportunity give me energy or drain my energy? How many of you have ever had an idea to start something because you had a talent or skill and you thought it could help people and you did it and you were miserable doing it? Here's my rule. Just because you can solve a problem for another person don't mean you need to be solving it. Example, 5 years ago, I decided I was going to help people write books. Because I've written so many books, people always come up to me and ask me, how do you write the books? And I finally saw enough people, I said, this is a business opportunity. Tell you what I do, for 10,000 bucks, I'll help you write that book. We're going to meet once a quarter. I'm going to give you a checklist. We're going to work through it. Okay? And at the end of 1 year, you're going to have a book that you can sell. Just like me. I write books now in less than 30 days. I can have those books out in less than 60 days. Hard copy, print, in Amazon, in less than 60-day cycle. Because I just released a book called The Accountable Church. I'm releasing another one probably next week called The Single Digit Millionaire. So I'm just pumping these things out because it's a formula that I use. Everybody with me? Well, if you've never written one, you don't know how to do it. So I go, I'll help you for 10,000 bucks, Ginger. You'll have a little book. Okay? So I started signing up all these people to help them, and it was the most miserable thing I have ever done in my life. First dude, can't get him to finish a chapter. Every time we talk, he's sitting there giving every excuse why he can't do it. I'm like, follow the plan. Okay? Halfway through that program, I gave everybody's money back.
Wow.
I went 2 quarters. I said, I ain't doing this. You ain't going to finish this book. I don't care if JC helps you. You understand? Now, here's my point. You don't have it in you to do it. Okay? You don't want to do it, and you're taking up my time, and it's miserable. And you say, well, I could have made 50, 60, 70, 100,000 bucks. Sure, I could have. But it drained every bit of my energy. Just because I could do it don't mean I need to be doing it. I can't tell you how many people say, oh, I see a business opportunity here. Over here, because I can do it. You know, I did it, and I can help them do it. That don't mean you need to be doing it, guys. So number one, this opportunity gives you energy. What's the one thing that you can do right now that gives you the most energy? What's the one thing that gives you the most energy? Now, notice this question. If you had to wake up every day the rest of your life, and you could do something that both motivated you and fascinated you, what would you wake up and do every day? If you said, if I got to get up and do this every day, it motivates me and it fascinates me. Fascination means you're fixated on it. Like you could study it all day long. You could watch it, you could watch videos on it. You could read books about it. Like it fascinates you. Right? What is that one thing that would both motivate you and fascinate you? And if you know that, that's a level 10 opportunity. Right or wrong? I haven't given up on my dreams of being a country music singer.
I heard you sing Wagon Wheel.
Yeah, I know it wasn't very good. But you know what? It took a lot of guts to get up on that stage.
That's right.
So I told Tommy Davidson the next day, I said, man, it don't matter if you can sing or not. It matters if you got enough guts to get up there and do it. Right or wrong?
That's right.
I had the time of my life singing that song. Okay? May figure out how to get up on stage with Luke Combs tomorrow night and sing something. But I don't have a talent in there. I don't have a talent there. Right? So I got to ask myself, if I can't be a country music singer, what can I do that would both fascinate me and motivate me forever? Every day I wake up and I just can't even believe we can do this. Can't even believe we could do this every day. Can't even believe they pay you to do it. That's what you need to be thinking. And if that's not your current gig, then you need to be moving toward that gig. Does that make sense? If what you're currently doing ain't it, you need to be moving toward that. Okay? Question number 2. Is it easy to market, and is there a deep need? This is such a critical question. It's such a critical question. I have found that some things are not easy to market. They're not easy to sell. So a level 10 opportunity it's easy for people to get and take action on. Does that make sense? If it's hard to market and hard to sell, then is it a level 10 opportunity if you're trying to reach the masses? That's kind of what I want you thinking. You need to decide what's easy to sell. I'm constantly asking my sales team, out of everything I create, what's the easiest product you've ever sold? E, what's the easiest product you've ever sold? Can you hear me? He's back there jamming on his earbuds. Now, what's the easiest product you've ever sold for us?
It's retreats.
Retreats. Okay. Say again. Tell people why. Tell people why. So I want you to think of it like this. I create products, and I take those products to my sales team, and I say, here you go. Go sell it. Everybody see that? This is a product. This level 10 started in my brain. Okay? I drew it up. I said, I'm going to do a level 10 workshop to strategize at the end of the year. This is a product for you to go sell. The cruise I'm doing in February is a product to sell. The boot camp I'm doing in January is a product to sell. The online academy is a product to sell. Monster Producer is a product to sell. Everybody see that? I want to create products that are what? Easy to sell. They're easy to sell. If you're building houses and you build a really cool house that's really different, it ain't hard to sell because it sells itself. Now, what if he goes out next year and makes $1 million more because he came today? What if he figures out something? Now, let me ask you a question. Was the workshop worth $140 or whatever it was, or was it worth $1 million? If you buy a book and you buy a book for $30 and you get one idea that makes you $300,000, is the book worth $30 or $300,000? Do you know there'll be people that won't buy a book because it's $30? Right or wrong? See? The way you're thinking is all wrong. Your thinking is too small. So when you think about this one, I want you to be real clear. Problem, solution. When I built my kids' academy, I didn't realize how hard it would be to sell to schools. We spent a year doing research and development. I went out and spoke at kids' conferences in front of teachers, only to come back and figure out those people ain't buying this product. I had to go speak all over the world to get in front of those teachers to say those teachers may think it's a good idea and they know that kids need confidence, but they ain't the ones ever going to buy it. So it took me a year to figure out who we need to sell it to. It's to parents, and we need to bring the price down to $97 and say you can get a year's worth of coaching for your kid for $97. And we need to sell 10,000 of them. Everybody see that? Don't need to be a monthly payment. It don't need to be $3.99 a month. It needs to be one payment for $97, and your kid can get in there at night and watch these sessions, and you can sit down with the parent and go through it with them. That's what I needed to figure out. It was too hard to sell. Everybody with me? It's complicated. You got to make it simple. So if it's a level 10 opportunity, now me selling 10,000 of those at $97 a pop is a lot of money. Okay? But I got to figure out a way to say it. So we kept playing with the ads. Does your kid need more confidence? Can your child perform in a competitive society? How much bounce back and emotional toughness does your kid need? Now we're starting to hit a chord going, my kid needs that. Mm-hmm. Now, if my kid needs that, I'll spend the $97 to buy the deal. Everybody see that? Okay? And just a funny story on that, my daughter can be very emotional. She's a high D, firstborn, Leo, which is exactly my personality. So she is very strong-willed and can get emotional. When she don't get what she wants, she can get emotional. So one day she has this complete outburst. She gets emotional. She freaks out. I go online and search number one person to build emotional toughness in kids. Guess who came up? Me. I said, we in a bad spot. Because if I'm the number one dude, and I can't handle my own kid, this is a problem. What else do you think I saw there? An opportunity. So I created the Michael Bird Institute of Emotional Toughness. Confidence. Bounce back. And eventually that'll be a concept where parents can send their kids to. And they can learn this emotional toughness and bounce back. I saw a business opportunity there, right? Now, let me ask you a question. It ain't going to be a business opportunity if I don't spend any time and energy on it. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason I tried that is because I said, the Greatness Factory for Kids, good. Institute for Emotional Toughness, stronger. What if the emotional toughness camp feeds into the Greatness Factory for Kids? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I'm constantly tweaking these ideas to see what idea will work. So number 2 is a problem solution. Number 3, now we're talking. Jay, now we're hitting the home stretch here. They say at the horse show, let them run and walk, right? Here's the deal. Is it highly profitable? It's a level 10 opportunity if it's highly profitable. Where do you make the most money in the most fun space that you can own? Where do you make the most money in the most fun space that you can own? Okay, I want you thinking about this. What is most profitable to you? I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were telling me about a part of their business that they had like a 67% profit margin on. But it was an area they wasn't paying any attention to. And I'm thinking, you making 67% profit but you're not paying attention to it? Why not? Why are you not paying attention? Well, we do this over here. And this got us real busy over here. Okay. If you could make 70 cents on every dollar over here, why wouldn't you be over here? Everybody understand that? You need to be thinking, what's the most profitable thing you could be doing? Where do you make the most money that you have the most fun? Where? Question? Yes.
What is that fun space that you can own? What does that you can't
It
own?
means go back to your unique ability area and you say, I'm the number one person. I can be the number one person in this area. I can own this space.
Okay.
Theoretically, I can be the number one person in this space.
Okay.
Everybody see that? Where is an area you need to cut right now it's not profitable? How many of you have an area you need to get rid of? You're spending time, energy, money, and you're miserable. You need to get rid of it. You can't grab a hold of the future while holding on to the past. You got to let go of something that ain't working. Okay? I'm cutting all kinds of things in 2020. I'm restructuring things, redefining things, redoing how I do everything. You know, one of the big trends I saw this year in my coaching program was 9 out of 10 people we sign up are not here. They're all over the world. We live in a Netflix world. Trying to get a person to come to class every month, month after month after month, and get them on my Monday accountability every Monday, and get them in the private Facebook group every Tuesday and Thursday. A lot of people do not have the toughness to do that, right? Here's what people want to do. Then they want to know why it don't work. Here's the deal. Nothing works unless you work it. But we're living in a Netflix world. Meaning people want to get it and watch it when they want to watch it. Some of them don't want to come to class. Some of them want to watch it on Saturday. Mm-hmm. But there are people say, I got to see you every month. Like as long as you do it live, I will be right there in your face seeing it because I got to get it like that. Everybody with me? So I still do it live, but the world is saying, it's almost like you go to webinars. Because the world's saying, I want to watch it when I want to watch it, Coach Burt. Like, I know you do it at 7:30 in the morning, but I can't come at 7:30 because I got to drop my kids off, and I'm going to school, and I got all these things to do, and I really can't come at that time that you're doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch it on Sunday afternoon. I don't care when you watch it, as long as you watch it, right or wrong.
Right.
But the world is changing, okay, which is why I cut out Knoxville. I'm not going to Knoxville anymore. It wasn't profitable for me. We wasn't making any money, and I was miserable going every month because I had to leave my family on Sunday, go to Knoxville, and there'd be 8 people show up. And then we call all the people, where are you at? Why are you not coming? Well, I need to come. God, I need to come. I meant to come, but I woke up this morning and I didn't feel good. Right? Or it's so pretty outside, I went fishing, Coach, instead of coming to your class. And I always like, now remind me again why you broke. Now, here's my point. The world is changing. So what you saw me do this year is cut out markets. It's like, man, I ain't doing that. No more. I'm only going to do it where it's profitable and I enjoy doing it. Everybody see that? You got to start thinking like this. Look at the bottom one. The 2 profit models. Which profit model do you have? High volume with low margin. High volume with low margin, meaning you make a little piece off every person. Or do you want to go high profit with low volume? Meaning you have expensive products, everybody with me? That you have a high profit on. And you only want to deal with, right? Like some coaches that I work with say, look, I'm taking on 20 people. Each one of those people are going to pay $25,000 or $50,000 or $100,000. I'm only taking on 20. And I'm going to make $1 million a year coaching 20 people. They're like, they look at my model and they're like, not in a million years would I coach that many people, Coach Burke. Like, I'm going to coach 20 people and they're going to pay a lot of money and I'm going to spend more time with those 20 people. Everybody see that? That's just a personal choice you got to make. It's just a personal choice you got to make, okay? All right, next one. We're coming down the home stretch. Is it scalable and is it sellable? How many of you right now feel like you have a sellable business? Meaning somebody could come along and buy your business. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now, if you read the book Built to Sell that I told you to read, whether you ever want to sell a business or not, it will force you to build a better business. Because if you wanted to sell a business, for the most part, somebody's going to come in and look at certain things. Do you have recurring revenue? Do you have a management team? Do you have a sales team in place? Do you have strong employee agreements? Do you understand what I'm saying? What they're really buying is your future profits. Mm-hmm. And if it's all dependent on you, if they go, look, this business ain't worth anything if you're not in it. Everybody follow me? They may look at it and go, man, nobody can buy this business. So you want to build it. So when do you want to build it to sell? From the beginning. And if you didn't build it to sell, you got to go back and rebuild it. So that one day somebody can come along and do it. Okay, so what's the big idea in business that's not dependent on you? And this is one of the best things I've ever done. How do you productize? How do you take a service business and productize it? Now you say, well, how do you do that? How do you build products versus services? How many of you in a heavy service model where you're servicing a lot of people and they call you on Saturday night? And on Sunday morning.
4 a.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday morning.
Thanks. You're welcome.
If you knew how many people start texting me at 4:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, if they can't text me, they Instagram me. If they can't Instagram me, they Facebook message me. If you knew how many it was a day from all over the world, right? Now I have to get back to them, because if I don't get back to them, what do they think? What a jerk. I mean, I know I sent him a message at 4:30 in the morning, but he ought to get right back to me. It's already 5:15.
I see you're working out.
Yeah, you see me working out on Instagram. Now, here's my point. When I built this business, I did not think about any of this. I just want to go out and coach people. I never thought about the day there'd be thousands of people in there. I never thought about the demand. I never thought about any of these things. Then a couple years ago, I go, how do I build products versus services? How do I productize this? Everybody see that? Now the new model I'm going to is, how do I collect the money up front? How do I collect the money up front versus monthly? You may say, well, wouldn't you want recurring revenue? You don't want recurring revenue when you get in the collections business. Because now you're trying to collect, you got declined credit cards, you got collections. Here's an interesting thing. If a person doesn't pay me for X amount of times and our accounting team sends it to collections, they get mad at me. Here's what they say. I thought Coach Burt was a good Christian man. Like I only owe him $10,000. I'm like, what do you want me to do? We tried to collect them. We gave you a service. I showed up every month and coached. You didn't come. You didn't pay. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want to send you to collections. Just make a payment. I don't care if it's $20. You just pay me something, right? Like, I will work with you if you'll just work with me here. But when you just don't pay for it and you take advantage of it, I don't know anywhere in the world you can do that. I don't know any business you can do that with. You can't go to the restaurant and eat the food and then not pay for it.
Oh, yes, you can.
I guess you can. Okay, all right.
But it was well done. I didn't like it like that.
That's true. Okay, I didn't think about that. Now, here's my point though. So the big things I'm going to is make it at a price point people can absorb and have them pay it up front. Everybody with me? Then it's up to them to come. That's my model. That's my model for 2020. Make it something they can afford so I can get the masses, come in and coach every day, and productize it. You're buying a product. You're buying a product, correct? That's where I'm trying to go. So that's just a different business model, right? All right, now let's finish you up. Is it intentionally congruent? It's a level 10 opportunity if it's intentionally congruent with your primary flow of income. That means one feeds the other. One thing feeds another thing. If it's not intentionally congruent, it may not be a level 10 opportunity for you. For example, I have a love for inspiration. I have a love for creativity. I have a love for energy. So how do I combine all of these into one cool job that pays me a lot of money? That's my goal. How do I combine all of my talents? I love inspiration, being in inspirational places. I love creativity. And I love getting energy from people. So how do I combine all three of those? Which is why the retreat started, by the way. I wanted to go to cool places and coach people in cool places. Inspiration, creativity, and energy. That's intentional congruence, okay? Now, a level 10 opportunity could be you create an entirely new space. That means, and this is a hard one, there is nothing there, and you are trying to create something there. Or you take a current space and you enhance it. That means somebody's doing it, you just figured out a way to do it better than they're doing it. You got a better mousetrap than they do. Okay? The concept of the greatness factory that I showed you earlier, you could say is a whole new thing.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could argue that there are WeWorks and eSpaces, and it is a hybrid version with just more things added to it. Either way, there is nothing out there in the world like what I showed you earlier. Okay? Because we've looked. That it combines those things. Now, let's close it off with what your problems could be. And when you leave here today and you say, this is why I'm not driving a level 10 opportunity. Your number one problem could be you're real good, but you're not real known. That's your number one problem. You don't have a talent problem, you got a marketing problem. So if I pinned you down today and said, okay, you know, you have the makings of a person of interest. Like you could become a person of interest, but you're not there. And I know you're not there because your demand is not high enough. The way you know you're a person of interest is you have high incoming demand. Everybody hear that? There are lots of people who want you, your skill set, your product or service. So the question is, how do we become one of these? In 2020, what can we do to drive up our person of interest score? Okay? And there are certain things you can do. Okay? So here's your problems. You're not clear on what space you want to own, so you're all over the place. You got no clear beliefs. You say, well, why is that important? All people of interest have clear beliefs about what they believe. Such as they know what they stand for, and they communicate what they stand for to the market every day, even if it's polarizing. It's actually even better if it's polarizing. That means controversial. You don't have enough frequency or affinity, meaning I see you, but there's not enough frequency to seeing you. Remember the words frequency and follow-up. Frequency and follow-up. Frequency and follow-up. Frequency and follow-up. There's no promotion cycles. Now what we're doing is we're working on our promotion cycles, meaning my marketing person who was here today with me. Here's what I told her at lunch. I said, I want a board that has every single event we have coming up, and I want to be able to see that board visually, and I want a marketing plan and promotion cycle around every single one of those. They should start a minimum of 90 days ahead. I want the funnels. I want the campaigns. I want the Facebook. I want our team to know, and I want to see it. I want to physically see it. I want a big board in our office that shows all this stuff. So that way it's right in front of us every day. These are things that are coming up. We got to promote this for 90 days. We got to sell tickets to this event. Okay? There has to be a promotion cycle. And I didn't learn that for a long time, guys. I'd create a product and then be like, how are we going to sell it? Well, let's call people. Let's call them and ask them if they want to come get it. I didn't promote it properly. You got nothing to push people to, and you got no strategic partnerships. You do know you could drive up your person of interest score through your strategic partnerships, yes or no?
Yes.
Visibility, being seen, circulating, parties, events. It's like I know you're doing something because I can see it. I'm watching you. I'm watching you, okay? Now, here's your person of interest tactic. in 2020, I will be doing these events. How many of you need to be doing customer appreciation events? Raise your hand. All of you. How many of you need to be doing strategic partner events? All of you. How many of you need to just get out in the world and be seen more? Yes. Yeah. Hey, come out of the house every now and then, okay?
I know, right?
God forbid you run into some people that can buy your services. If I said right now, Jay Cash, I got an opportunity, but we got to go to Wilmington, North Carolina as soon as we leave here.
Yes.
And it could be worth $1 million. You want to go? You know what he needs to say? Yes, sir.
I'm driving.
Yes, sir. I'm in. Can I go with you? That's what you need to say. That's how you need to think. I'm in. You got opportunity? Okay. We'll work for food. I'll be there. Okay. Number 3, I will create these new products. You know, I'll be honest with you, when I write a book, the really purpose of the book is to give me something to promote. Does that make sense? Got a new book, got a new workshop, got a new thing, got a new message, got a new something. It really just gives me something to talk about. That's the purpose of writing the book. It ain't to make $1 million selling books, by the way. Like you think of it wrong when you think I'm going to write a book and make $1 million. You need to think about it is I'm going to write a book so I can talk about something on social media, so I can push something out on Instagram, so I can keep going, okay? I will work this facet of the selling system, connectors, top 25, and showcase, and I will go to work on going deeper with my current clients to get 5.7 referrals out of my current clients.
Yeah.
All of these things will drive up your person of interest score. And what will happen over a period of time is people will start coming to you versus you having to go to them. Wouldn't it be nice?
Yes, sir.
You are no longer chasing anything. People are now chasing you. I want you to imagine the day that you go to your office and there are 30, 40, 50, 100 people who have called and asked for you. They're saying, I heard you were the best in the world. How much is it going to cost me? The best sales I ever make, guys, are people who call me, typically CEOs of companies, and they say, Coach, we want to build a high pay drive environment. And they tell us you're the best at that. How much is it going to cost us? They're already sold, right or wrong. They've already bought. It's just a matter of making the numbers work. When you have high status and you begin to grow your status like that, that's what's going to happen to you. People are going to be calling and asking for you. Now, how much is it going to cost me to work with you? Because that's the only person I want to work with. You know, when Steve Jobs did the marketing at Apple, he paid a ridiculous amount of money for his marketing and branding at Apple. And he asked one question, who's the best in the world? It don't matter how much they cost. Who is the best marketing firm in the world? Who's the best branding agency in the world? Mm-hmm. That's who I'm looking for. Now, once Steve Jobs used them, who else you think used them? Everybody. Everybody. Because everybody wants to use who Jobs, right? Everybody wants to use who Jobs used. There's a coach in California that passed away named Bill Campbell. And there was a book about him that people wrote about him. It was called $1 Trillion Coach. He coached Steve Jobs. He coached the boys from Google. He coached Eric Schmidt. He coached every major executive in Silicon Valley. They said that the people he coached produced over $1 trillion of income, of revenue. And they all had the same coach named Bill Campbell. Now, once you're good enough for Jobs, you're good enough for everybody, right or wrong? Once you're good enough for the best in the world, you're good enough for everybody. Now, that goes for every person in this room. Once you represent the best people in any community, you're going to be good enough for everybody. You with me here? My hope is today that you leave here. I told you at the beginning of the day, you would leave here thinking bigger than you came. Have we accomplished that, yes or no?
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
We came thinking we were going to think bigger. Right? So we accomplished that. Everybody's thinking bigger than when they came. We came also making a guarantee that you would start to have clarity about what are the biggest opportunities in front of your face that you're not focused on. Yes or no? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, everything else is about numbers. And what I mean by the numbers is this. I got a dream number, I got an optimistic number, I got a monthly number. Here's how I'm going to get to those numbers. Everything else, that's something for you to figure out. How much revenue are you going to drive in 2020? Break that down into a quarterly number, into a monthly number. Right? And then what have I got to do every day to hit that number? Everything else is just numbers. You got all the tools. You got all the tools. Now, I'm going to show you some things we have coming up that I want you to consider. I've still got spots on this cruise. If you're interested in going with me on the cruise, Navigator of the Sea, it's February 7th through the 10th. These are the people that are speaking on the cruise. $50 million company, double-digit millionaire. This dude right here is making about $4 million a year personally. This guy's running a $25 million insurance company. This guy's a former military intel agent that handles all of my marketing. Okay, this is his wife. Okay, and listen, she's a force to be reckoned with. All of us go on the cruise, and what we do on that cruise is we fly to Miami. We have an event on Thursday night, like a get-together party, and then we get on a cruise ship on Friday, and we go out to the Bahamas, and we go out to sea, and we do the coaching sessions while we're at sea. Once we get to the islands, we let you get off, have fun. There's a lot of fun to be had on this too. So think edutainment. We're going to educate you some, and we're going to entertain you some, right? But what's it worth for you to be able to sit side by side a dude running a $50 million company? What's it worth to sit side by side and talk to a guy making $400,000 or $500,000 a month personally? What's it worth to be able to do this? You got to start thinking like this. That's a cheap price to pay to have access to these people. Trust me on this, okay? So the cruise is coming up in February. Then right here, I'm doing a marketing boot camp. So if you feel like marketing is your problem, in February, the 23rd, I think 28th and 29th, this is the guy who's handling a lot of my marketing, former military intel officer. Well, that's a fancy way of saying he's a freak of nature, okay? He knows a lot of things. So I'm paying him to help me build my brand, and that's in February. And that's going to be like a person of interest boot camp. So it's monster marketing combined with person of interest. I'll teach you the person of interest plays. He'll teach you the marketing pieces. So if you're interested in this, you can see the sales folks. And if you're wanting to go down to Florida with Natalie and I, we're doing a couples retreat down in Florida at our house in Seaside. We only have 6 bedrooms to sell on that. And these couples events, this is one thing he would tell you, kind of changed the nature of his life with him and his wife that went to one. It's not, I'm not a therapist. My wife's not a therapist, so don't think we're going to get down there and unpack everything's going on in your marriage, because we're not, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to get down there and just talk about how to build something special together. How do you build intentional congruence into your life? How do you include your talents? How do you include your spouse's talents and your talents? How do you do this together? So a lot of the couples that go on this say it's really a game changer. So if you're interested in any of that, you can see Eric White or Lakin, whomever you work with on our team, and you can get enrolled. And I'm going to be rolling out a lot more, guys. I'm going to be doing something with Marshall Silver. Okay, I know that. We got it on the books. I'm going to be doing something with Jim Shields, who wrote the book 18 Summers. It says you only get 18 summers with your kids, and on how to connect to your kids better. I'm going to be doing something with Sharon Lecter, that basically wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I'm going on tour with Tim Story, who's a celebrity life coach. We're hitting like 8 or 9 big cities. So we got a lot to offer you in 2020. If you're here and you're not in the coaching program, I want to encourage you. Okay, right now is an incredible time to get in the program. It's under $1,500 for the whole year. Okay, so this is the best time for you to jump in. It's typically $5,000, and right now it's less than $1,500. It's $1,497. So if you're here and you want to be coached by me all year and get this kind of coaching monthly, how many people, raise your hand if you're in the coaching program right now. I just want people to see. All of these people are currently in the program. Okay, so if you're not and you want to get in it, I'm just telling you, it'll be the best $1,500 you ever spent. Because if I can't help you make more than $1,500, then good Lord, I need to get out of coaching. And you probably need to get out of the industry you're in, right or wrong. So thank you for coming and spending the day with me today. God bless you, and have an incredible 2020. All right, thank you very much. Have a great day.